We'll watch this video. We'll watch the tragic tale of Little Trey. The tragic tale of Lil Tay. Now, I don't know too much about Lil Tay. I know that she is a child that maybe did music or something. I vaguely remember her. That's it. So, that's all I got. That's all the context I'm going into here with. Let's do it.
While searching for unique content to react to in late 2017, RiceGum would stumble across this bizarre video.
It's Lil Tay. I'm richer than all y'all. I'm 9.
She's
I was
9.
born in Atlanta, and I was broke as, look at me now. I'm all better than you, broke ass.
After being featured on RiceGum's channel, the girl in the video would identify herself as Lil Gucci Taylor and respond to
Little Gucci Taylor.
RiceGum in yet another video.
He dropped a video on me, so today we be reacting to that.
Spotting a consistency in
What the fuck? What's this kid so vulgar for? What's going on here?
her strangely hilarious attitude, people began to ask questions about her story. Was this a genuine expression of her personality, or was she being forced to say these things by another family member? The audience would eventually get the answers to each of these questions, however, in the process, would also be met with allegations, court cases relating to the distribution of Lil Tay's money, and the complete deterioration of her family's public image.
What about the millions of dollars you stole? Real mature, Chris. You're gonna act like you're the right.
Revealing one of the most tragic stories on the topic of childhood fame. After being discovered by RiceGum, as previously mentioned, her notoriety would skyrocket. And owing to this newly found level of social media success, the degree to which she would flex her wealth slowly escalated with each and every new YouTube video. Lil Tay would also create an Instagram account where she would once again begin to post photos and videos displaying how rich she apparently was.
Damn, I wish. Look at her. She's looking.
Lil Tay would also create an Instagram account.
Look at this. She's just holding money like a phone. I wish, dude. I wish I had that much money to hold like a phone, bro. That's crazy.
She would once again begin to post photos and videos displaying how rich she apparently was.
I'm only 9 years old. I ain't got no license, but I still drive this sports car. Your favorite rapper ain't even doing it like Lil Tay.
Which is where her popularity would absolutely explode.
That's
Only
funny.
2 weeks after making her Instagram account, Lil Tay had gained 1.2 million followers with less than 10 photos.
This girl, Lil Tay, has like 500,000 followers on Instagram. 700,000. She just went up by 300,000 subscribers in one day.
A level of fame that granted her access to a load of other huge celebrities.
Like she's hanging out with Whoa Vicky, who's just trash. That's all it is.
Who's Whoa Vicky? Oh, I know who Whoa Vicky is. She looks like a giraffe girl. Right? She looks kind of like a giraffe. Yeah, she does. She does kind of look like a giraffe. You gotta hit it from the right angle and you can see it. Like, you see, she knows it too because she wears the fucking, what are they called, turtlenecks. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
She would post photos with Chief Keef, XXX Tentacion, Lil Pump, and would even appear in a video where Bad Baby was attempting to fight Whoa Vicky. All of these events continue to push Lil Tay further and further into the mainstream.
Wait, who's Lil Tay?
Lil Tay is a 9-year-old girl who
Joe
is
Rogan.
famous now on the internet for showing all the money she has and all the things she buys.
All while her apparently insane lifestyle continued to escalate. She displayed nicer and nicer cars,
Lil Tay just copped a brand new Ferrari.
while bragging about how she had gone from living in the hoods of Atlanta to living in the hills.
When I was 6 years old, I lived in Atlanta, and I was broke, and now we be living in the hills. See that view?
I heard that like the mom was somebody with like a property person. Like she toured people or she showed people different hotels or oh my god, I can't speak. She would show people different like apartments or condos, and Lil Tay would just go in there and pretend it was hers.
I don't have that view.
This video about her living in the hills would go on to gain the attention of Jake Paul, who would invite her to the Team 10 mansion for an interview,
Invite Lil Tay to my house, to Team 10 Mansion.
where she would answer numerous questions, including her thoughts on RiceGum, the person who had made her famous in the first place.
He is irrelevant. He's trying to get clout, so he made a video on me.
After noticing that Lil Tay was getting involved in interviews, she would be invited onto the Zach Sang show, where she would be asked,
Does Lil Tay want to change the world?
I mean, I kind of already did.
while once again maintaining the narrative that she was a 9-year-old millionaire.
How many cars do you have now?
A little over 10.
Wow.
A little over 10.
What does a little over 10 mean? Like if you said like a little over 100, I get it. You know, maybe you don't really know exactly. A little over 10 with 11, 12. Maybe 13 is a little over 10, but once we hit 14, not so much. You got 3 numbers to choose. You know what I'm saying? A little over 10? Come on. Give me a fucking number. What are you talking about?
10. How many houses?
I mean, why are you even surprised? I'm the youngest flexer of the century.
However, understandably, the audience was skeptical at best.
I feel like nobody. I mean, I don't take it seriously. Whether she is or isn't rich is like irrelevant. It's just she's a kid fucking around. It's funny. Like that's the funny meme. Is that you have like a little white girl acting like a fucking rapper. That's what's funny because that's what it is.
How much of this is an act? This could be just some elaborate social experiment or prank of some sort. And I mean, come on. Of course the audience was skeptical. To have a 9-year-old acting this way saying they used to be broke when they were 6, but they became a millionaire by 9 had to be a total joke. To support this, a lot of the early videos felt forced and acted.
I don't really like the 2 of these people on top of it. It's
Millionaire
just
by
weird
9
looking.
had to be a total joke. To support this, a lot of the early videos felt forced and acted. As an example, when she went to meet Jake Paul, you can tell that she's trying not to laugh.
My house is like way, I mean, it's lit and all, but my house is way bigger than yours.
Oh.
In addition to this, you can can see the cameraman and the driver of the car both smiling and laughing behind the camera. One thing was assumed by almost everyone. The whole thing was an act. But there were still so many unanswered questions. Who came up with the idea? How were her parents involved? What was the overall goal of the persona? With such a huge following and so many invested into figuring out the details behind her story, it was only going to be so long before people began to discover the truth.
People took it seriously. Did people really take it seriously? To me, this is just a dumb kid like pretending to be a fucking like famous. Like, it's funny. It's like a meme. It's a living meme. I think it's funny.
In May 2000,
because it's like preposterous. There's no way like a 6-year-old, even if they became a millionaire by 9 because they're parents, they'd have no contribution to it. So we would all know that she's like fake flexing.
2018, only 5 months into
Lil Tay exposes a fraud, a flexing fraud. Homes belong to someone else. Oh no, who the fuck could have ever expected that?
her journey as the youngest flexer of the century.
I feel like there are people who were like, you know what's so weird? Is I feel like the people who found out about this, they weren't like, they didn't stumble upon it. They probably were like, this 9-year-old says that she's more famous than me? This is ridiculous. I'm gonna figure this one out. It's like, oh, Fruch, it's not that fucking serious, dog. Chill the fuck out.
Lil Tay would be exposed for who she really was.
Lil Tay's big brother, who's like 16 years old, is the one that is controlling her and telling her what to say.
On the 23rd of May 2018.
Well, what does the word controlling mean? I know that there's more left to talk about, but like fundamentally, your older brother saying, "Hey, say some dumb shit for the camera," it's not that big of a deal. It's not like abusive. It's like, who gives it? Of course, Keemstar again, yeah, right. It's not that big of a fucking deal. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's a funny meme. You know, you're having your fucking younger sister do some dumb shit.
Keemstar will post a tweet stating, Lil Tay being coached what to say by her brother. Sad.
Lil Tay be popping on
Why is it sad though?
YouTube right now.
No. You're gonna be like more ignorant.
Well, no one was all that.
Yeah, it's not that. From what we've seen so far, it's not that big of a deal. It's like silly. It's dumb. It's not really a big deal.
Surprised to see that it was.
Why are people saying that he deserves to be in prison? Am I missing context here? Did something happen? Did he like beat her with a fucking whip and be like, "You better say the right thing, you little bitch"? Because I feel like from what I just saw, it was not that big of a deal. He's asking a 9-year-old. He's asking his 9-year-old sister to make fucking say silly shit, and she's like not quite getting it. So he's asking her to say it again.
It was an act. Many were surprised to see the brother being so aggressive while coaching her. Child abuse. Lemaire, this is actually so sad. I feel bad for that little girl. Yo, this poor girl. I always had this suspicion. Others.
I feel like it's just a bunch of
child abuse. Lemaire, this is actually so sad. I feel bad for that little girl. Yo, this.
I feel like these big content creators. Maybe I have to see the original video. It gets real quick. Okay. Oh, let's
poor
just
girl.
get to the end.
I always
Okay.
had this suspicion. Others thought that the whole thing was an even deeper conspiracy, being that the video had been leaked deliberately to add more fuel to the fire. Bro, why would this be filmed? What if getting caught was all a part of the plan? Honestly, they could just be doing
People
this
are very bored, but okay.
now for more attention. This was leaked by Lil Tay. Y'all stupid if you guys fall for this.
They were worried she would be ruining her future for being culturally insensitive. I guess maybe, possibly.
Whether it was deliberate or not, one thing
That speaks more about society not really having the ability to take a fucking joke more than what she's doing.
had been established. The whole thing had been confirmed as an act with her brother involved to some extent, and the news spread like wildfire across YouTube.
Surprise, surprise, Lil Tay's internet persona is fake.
With Lil Tay's expose being so public, her former friend and fellow flexer, Wolvicky, would post a video titled The Truth About Lil Tay and Wolvicky, where she would confirm that the whole thing was being controlled by her brother.
She don't know nothing about flexing. It's her brother that runs her account, and it's her brother that tells her what to do.
What are you saying? What is this fucking woman saying? I can't hear a word. What the fuck is she talking about? Speak English. Anyway, that was a little bit of a boomer moment for me, huh? Anyway, all jokes aside, yeah, so everybody that she meets would obviously know this is an act. So now it looks like Vicky is probably just looking for some kind of clout spike. So she's like, oh, Lil Tay's fake. I knew it all along. But it's like, okay, why did you expose it earlier if you actually gave a shit? Well, it's because you didn't give a shit. You're just looking for like a clout ride.
It's her brother in her ear.
At this point, it was all starting to add up, especially when considering another incident where a live stream had been started on Lil Tay's Instagram. However, when the volume button on the phone was accidentally pressed, the screen would disappear to reveal that it was her brother setting up the live stream.
No.
Possibly to protect the reputation of her brother, Lil Tay would appear on the news show Good Morning America, claiming that she was the one behind the character.
This is my decision. I'm happy with what I'm doing.
However, this interview would also reveal that Lil Tay's mother was involved in the whole operation. One of the unanswered questions still up in the air at this point was, how was Lil Tay getting access to so many luxury homes and...
Did Lil Tay used to say the N-word? Oh, see, this is one of the... Did that actually happen? Did she used to say that word in some of these videos that I just don't know about.
Cars when she was so young. Individuals like Cody Ko thought that since she was likely being controlled by some powerful media figure, they must have set them up for her. However, this wasn't the case. Lil Tay's mother actually happened to be a Vancouver real estate agent and would use her luxury listings to film the videos in. Additionally, she would use her boss's luxury cars such as a Bentley and a Mercedes, which would have been fine, however she didn't have permission to do so. After noticing the videos online, Lil Tay's mother would be fired from the agency, with the business stating, "When we found out about this activity last week, we had to dismiss her," and that the behavior in Lil Tay's videos had no place in the real estate industry.
What a dumbass. That's the thing that's more than anything else. How dumb the mom has to be to get caught with saying shit like that and doing shit like that. It's so stupid. Take the fucking L, mom, you idiot. You gave up your job, you fucking moron.
After being exposed as a total fraud, Lil Tay had nowhere to go. The act didn't work anymore now that everyone knew that it was fake. Lil Tay would post one final Instagram post as a tribute to XXXTentacion, then wipe her Instagram clean by deleting every single post, which is where the
did she really like lose all of her clout because of that? I feel like who thought she was really fucking rich and famous? It's so weird.
The tragedy of Lil Tay began to come to the surface. After remaining completely silent for approximately 3 weeks, a story would be posted to the Lil Tay Instagram page saying nothing but the 2 words, "Help me." It had been mentioned that the deletion of every post on Lil Tay's Instagram was the result of a rebranding strategy while she had been staying with a new manager in LA.
Lil Tay is currently staying at her new manager's home in Los Angeles. His name is Diomi Cordero, and he deleted all of Tay's Instagram posts because he's planning to completely rebrand her.
Was this story stating "Help me" just a new branding method to get people talking about her again? Whether or not it was a deliberate strategy aimed at stirring conspiracy theories, this is exactly what it did. 9-year-old Instagram star Lil Tay deleted everything from Instagram and left a cryptic message. Controversial 9-year-old Instagram star sparks concern after deleting all her social media posts before sharing an eerie message saying "Help me." Despite asking for help in the Instagram story, Lil Tay wouldn't provide any context, never actually specifying what it was that she needed help with. This seemed like confirmation that the help message was a publicity stunt, as a help message with no further information is completely useless to anyone reading it. However, 3 months later, Lil Tay would reveal the truth behind why she had posted the "Help me" message. On the 22nd of October 2018, a post would show up on the Lil Tay Instagram page stating, "This was Lil Tay the last time she was happy. 2 hours before Christopher John Hope, her abusive absentee father who hasn't been in her life for years, handed her a court order forcing her to go to his home in Canada, in which she was constantly abused by Hope and his wife.
Jesus
he banned her
Christ.
off of social media because he was afraid she would expose the truth to the world, the truth of what he has done and hasn't been punished for. For the past few months, he's been trying to destroy Tay and her mother's life for his own financial gain."
Jesus Christ, that took a fucking turn. I mean, that's fucking nuts. That's so crazy. Like, we started with like the brother just having her do stuff and everybody's like, that's abusive, to like a literal fucking actual abuse or potential abuse. Because I don't know how confirmed it is, but I wouldn't doubt it. It's fucking, and see, this is one of those things why like it blows my fucking mind when people are over exaggeratory. The brother's abusing her? It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. He's just having his sister do stupid shit. And then here we have a daughter, the father who is apparently actually abusing her. And it's like, what word do you use now? Because you use the word abuse for like a fucking, for a brother that has her sister do silly fucking, basically a silly fucking prank is what it is, what it boils down to. But now what word do you use? Because you've already used abuse for that, and now we have literal, actual abuse going on. This is why like these semantical arguments are very important.
In the 3 months between the "Help me" message and the allegations, Lil Tay had lost more than 200,000 Instagram followers. Was ratting out her own father a desperate attempt to put her monthly follower count back in the green after realizing that a simple "Help me" message wasn't going to cut the mustard? Alternatively, on the more conspiratorial end, what if the dad, who was possibly receiving a share from Lil Tay's fame, was a part of it the whole time and knew that the story would receive more attention if they built a narrative around how she was being abused by him? Well,
I feel like, I don't know, how good do we think a narrative would be of like, hey, I'm abusive towards my daughter? Like, I feel like that's not, no sane, right-minded individual would try to come up with a narrative that's like, oh, I'm an abusive hot father.
Well, apparently this wasn't the case, as court documents would then be released outlining the legal battle between Lil Tay and her father, stating some of the bad things that apparently constituted abuse. However, personally, I think some of the points just show that Lil Tay and her mother didn't actually have that much dirt on the
Okay, locked in closets for a long time. Tay was locked in a dark closet many times at the Chris's Hope's place. Mr. Hope would show no interest in spending time with his child. That's abuse. What are you talking about? What? Wait, dude.
However, personally, I think some of the points just show that Lil Tay and her mother didn't actually have that much dirt on the father.
Bro, what a weird stance for this guy, for SunnyV2 to take. That's like, I don't really think that the abuse happened. I think these points are really weak and they were just basically trying to compound things, right? Some of the points maybe.
However, personally, I think some of the points just show that Lil Tay and her mother didn't actually have that much dirt on the father. I
feel like, okay, so I understand you could say like, oh, like this one right here, scary movies. Doesn't really seem like a particularly big deal to have a kid watch a scary movie. You know, I guess you have to read it. But like this one here, putting somebody in a closet sounds pretty bad.
slammed the door on Tay's foot and broke her toenail when she was angry at Tay, asked Tay to bake for herself and Tay's fingers got burnt. Chris Hope often made Tay watch scary movies. If you ask me, none of these really constitute abuse and could easily be dismissed as accidents, standard child.
Sure. But then we start here, Tay was locked in a dark closet. So this would be additional information like, hey, they locked Tay in a dark closet. The father showed no interest in spending time with the child. He left Tay during weekends and holidays very often when he went to parties. Tay told me many times she was locked in the dark closet when Mr. Hope left with her partner. Then, like, yes, once even slammed the door on Tay's foot and broke her toenail. It could have been an accident. But it says when they were angry at Tay, that's abusive. How did you highlight abuse and say that's probably not abuse? Now, you can say you don't believe it, whatever, you do you, but to sit in here and say, like, oh, well, I don't know that this actually constitutes abuse. That does. Asked Tay to bake cookies for herself and she got burned. Like, that's fine. I get it. That could be an innocent mistake. But, like, I feel like this, I don't like the Oh, every time I watch a SunnyV2 video, it's just always some kind of weird framing of a situation. Like, this is a downplay of abuse. Now, if these were incorrect, that's fine. But this right here, he highlighted breaking a child's foot because they're angry at them is literally abuse. Watching scary movies, not that big of a deal.
Watch scary movies. If you are
Yeah, I've asked him to stop messages. Like, that's whatever. After he came back to, she complained and cried. I don't know if watching scary movies is abuse. She had nightmares, so with the light on. I don't know how typical that is. Also scared and covered his head with a blanket during scary movies. Okay, so the kids were scared. They didn't like watching the movies. Maybe it is abuse. I don't really know.
Plus me, none of these really constitute abuse and could easily be dismissed as accidents.
I feel like, dude, it's not a good thing when you say something. I'm reading the article and you're saying that these things don't constitute abuse, and you're just kind of like wrong. It's really weird between the downplaying of Gypsy Crusader's shitty things that he did and this. It's just your fucking really bizarre content creator. Like, SunnyV2 says some really weird shit that's like, it makes me very uncomfortable as I listen to his stuff. It's very bizarre. It's weird to downplay potential child abuse. It's weird, and just in the way that they're doing it.
Often made Tay watch scary movies. If you ask me, none of these really constitute abuse and could easily be dismissed as accidents, standard childhood experiences, and overly embellished attempts at discrediting the father.
I mean, maybe. See, that's the thing. Those things do constitute abuse. Now, if you wanted to say, hey, I think that they're exaggerating, you could say that. I think that that's something for the courts to decide. But I don't know. Because slamming somebody's foot in the door and breaking their toe isn't a standard childhood experience or an accident.
Lil Tay's dad would then go on and make a public statement about why he had taken Lil Tay. When my daughter's social media began to go viral this year, I disagreed with most of the social media activity. I took legal steps to stop things which I felt were dangerous to her physical and mental health and to her future. The issue with this whole thing was that every situation could have easily been reinterpreted to fit Lil Tay's narrative.
I mean, to me, it just seemed like she was goofing around. So I feel like that's a really weird power grab from the father. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. Maybe the future stuff, but I feel like the mother and the mother was being dumb by using her work shit for it. But I feel like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a reasonable narrative.
Tay has no money left to pay lawyers for fighting for her freedom. Her father has stolen everything from her. Was this just a dramatic way of saying that the father is taking control over her finances because, hey, maybe it's not the best idea to let a 9-year-old control hundreds of thousands of dollars she likely earned during her short time in the sun? Is forcing Lil Tay
Sure, but if she can't afford a lawyer, I mean, then that's a problem.
To wear broken and ripped shoes and socks to school, not just a normal thing for a parent to do? What constitutes broken and ripped? Anything more than a week old, a month old, a year old? Where's the line?
I think that it would be broken and ripped. The shoes would be. I mean, I just feel like this is just a weird. It's bizarre. I understand taking a more objective stance and like sitting back and not really applying your opinions to this thing and saying like, hey, listen, I don't know if the abuse is true. It's possible that it's some kind of like a mother and father battling, because it's common for parents to battle for custody in very toxic ways. 100%. That's a fair narrative to promote. But this just seems like you're intentionally downplaying everything rather than making a general prescription of like, hey, this might be the toxic interaction between mother and father, which would have a profoundly negative impact on her mental health. But the framing is, once again, not great.
When I was in school, it was a status symbol to be wearing shoes that were literally falling apart on the playground. But apparently these days, it's abuse to send Lil Tay to school with broken shoes.
It's like a weird thing. When I was young, it was cool to be poor. Okay, that's great. Thank you for the anecdote.
The father is a lawyer in Vancouver. He doesn't seem to be just some no-name drongo that's trying to leech off his daughter's success.
Just again, I don't like these generally invalidating narratives. Saying that somebody can't be abusive because they're well-to-do, they're a prominent lawyer. That's just shitty. That's shitty rhetoric. It's like shitty rhetoric. Like, what are... Hey, he was a prominent lawyer. Do you really think he would do bad things? Like, bro, come on. It just, to me, it just screams I don't quite understand abuse.
However, I could be wrong with this. Perhaps with a background in law, he's using...
Yeah, you could be wrong with all these things. I like how people will do that. Hey, here's my opinion on something, and then I'm going to tell you, but maybe I'm wrong. You took quite a heavy stance against her being abused.
His knowledge to ensure that he's entitled to a proportion of her earnings.
If anything, though, a lawyer would have the means to know how to suppress information better because they're a fucking lawyer.
But from his perspective, he stated, everyone else involved in the situation is...
I do not think a 10-year-old should be put in these situations and made to drop out of school so that she can make money for other people. Okay, if that's true, that's something you should focus on. If she actually dropped out of school, that's a huge problem and a really good reason. So I would have highlighted this part that you didn't highlight, which is like, if they actually made her drop out of school, I would consider that abusive from the mother. 100%. Everyone else involved, okay.
Motivated by money and the possibility of making money off of my daughter. I'm not fighting about money. I'm fighting for my daughter, for her happiness, and for her future.
See, that's a reasonable perspective. I just don't know why you didn't highlight the drop out of school part, because that would be like that would be a call to abuse.
Only 4 months ago, after 2.5 years of complete silence on all social media, Lil Tay's brother would return to the Instagram account, announcing the commencement of the court case between Lil Tay and her father. 5 posts were uploaded, once again attempting to discredit the father and provide evidence that Lil Tay had been abused. Accompanying the post would be a GoFundMe for Lil Tay's legal defense with a goal of $150,000. However, the fund would raise only $16,000. On one of the Instagram posts, it was stated by the brother, he can say in the press, I love her and I want the best for her, but anybody can say that. However, simultaneously, to apply the same principle, anyone can say this is not a marketing scheme. How do we know that this $16,000 went anywhere near this apparent legal case? How do we know that these videos aren't 2 years old and are only being uploaded now to milk the final bit of Lil Tay's relevancy for money? Why did the GoFundMe start on the same day that the court case commenced? Wouldn't this mean that the lawyers were already in place? Wouldn't you have wanted the money in preparation for the court case? What evidence do you have that the court case even exists? The tragic tale of Lil Tay proves one thing and one thing.
Here's the problem I have with this video is, again, I understand taking an objective stance and trying not to like weigh in, but he's like heavily favoring the father in a situation that I feel like is so messy that I think it would be inappropriate to be like, oh, I think the mother did it or the father did it. Like I said, there is quite a possibility that like custody battles are can be very toxic between parents, often at the expense of the children, which is incredibly unfortunate. And this might be that. It might be two sides, potentially both abusive in some capacity, shitting on each other to try to get their kid back.
Only. You can say whatever you want on the internet. It's so simple to frame anything in your favor by simply making it a little bit dramatic with a few basic arguments. At the end,
he's doing that thing right now. He's literally doing a thing that he's criticizing. He's the one making arguments that like, oh, the father is the good guy and the mother's the bad guy by framing it and putting some dramatic music. Bro, this is a little brain dead, dude. Come on, man. Why do you do things like this? How are you so inconsistent? Just like your existence is inconsistent, I feel.
At the end of the day, Lil Tay is a character who was built on nothing but lie after lie after lie.
Lil Tay was a fucking meme, bro. Chill out with the lie after lie. We're acting like people got fucking betrayed because you thought a 9-year-old was a famous fucking rap star or something. Like, we get a clout grab or whatever.
About who she really was. Why would there be any shift from lying about who she was in every single post to suddenly telling the truth about what was happening in this court case?
What the fuck? Now we're just saying that a potential victim of abuse must be lying about their abuse because they lied about this clearly parody-esque character that they were playing. Bro, you gotta stop. You need to stop with these things. You know? You got, like, just the framing. You're agreeing with the father more. You're invalidating potential abuse. Like, again, I understand the objective take to take a step back and say, like, hey, I don't know how much is going on. But it seems like you're taking a rather firm stance in the direction of she's not being abused in any capacity. I think it's a bad thing when we don't take abuse claims seriously. We can let the court settle this out, figure out what's going on. I get it. You want to put trust in the legal system. That's totally fine. But you're literally like invalidating potential abuse of a child. And that's not fine. That's a bad thing. It's a thing that a bad person would do. I feel like you're not doing the correct thing here. This seems to be there. I don't know, dude. There seems to be a pattern from SunnyV2 of like irresponsible rhetoric being pushed between the being a fucking gypsy crusader. What would you call that? Sympathizer, and downplaying the amount of toxicity and racism from him to like potentially invalidating a very real abuse story. He's fucking, dude. I don't know, dude. There's every video I've watched so far, this guy is like a little sus. It's a little sussy.